He like, slap it, daddy. So you slapping her tattoo.
Nobody expected Hoodtrophy Bino to go this far. Not the fans, not the blogs, not even Chrisean herself. But last night, in a live stream that spiraled into absolute chaos, Bino didn't just call her out, he humiliated her, and not in a playful way, not in a petty breakup rant, but in a cold, calculated explosion that exposed everything she thought he would never speak on. It started as a normal live, laughing, music, a few people in the comments asking basic questions. But then someone typed, "What happened between you and Chrisean?" Bino paused, smirked, leaned into the camera, and said the 7 words that set the internet on fire. "You want to know what she did?" The entire chat froze. Requests flooded in. Viewers jumped. Screens recorded. Clips started circulating before he even finished speaking, because Bino didn't hold back. He didn't protect her image. He didn't shield her reputation. He didn't soften anything. He went straight for the most intimate, most private, most shocking details. Things that were never supposed to leave the bedroom, never supposed to leave the house, never supposed to reach the public. And the way he said it, calm, confident, almost like he'd been waiting for the perfect moment to expose her. He said she lied. He said she manipulated. He said she played innocent in public, but acted completely different behind closed doors. And then, the line that broke the internet. She knows what she was doing in that bed, and she knows why I left. People lost it. Fans screamed in the comments. Chrisean supporters started defending her. Blog pages instantly clipped it. Her enemies celebrated. Her family went silent. And within minutes, the phrase, "Bino exposes Chrisean," was trending everywhere. TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. But here's the real question no one can answer yet. What exactly happened behind closed doors? And why did Bino finally snap today? Because according to insiders, this wasn't random, this wasn't emotional, this wasn't accidental, this was planned. Before last night's meltdown, before Hoodtrophy, Bino exposed Chrisean in front of thousands, before the entire internet grabbed popcorn and started dissecting every second of his live stream. There was a slow burn disaster happening behind the scenes that nobody, not fans, not friends, not even their closest circles, fully understood, because Bino and Chrisean didn't start off as enemies. They didn't start off toxic. They didn't even start off messy. They started off like 2 people who were convinced they understood each other better than anyone else. In the beginning, their chemistry was instant, explosive, addictive, way too intense for 2 people who weren't ready for the storm they were creating. They clicked in a way that felt dangerous. People around them said the energy between them was magnetic. They laughed too loud together. They flirted too boldly. They jumped into things way too fast. And from the outside, it looked like a spontaneous, chaotic Gen Z fairy tale. But behind that energy, behind those smiles and those late-night link-ups, there were cracks. Cracks they both saw, cracks they both ignored, cracks that slowly widened every time they tried to force something that wasn't built to last. Bino didn't talk much about his private life, not online, not in interviews, not with friends unless he trusted them. But with Chrisean, he opened up, he let her in. He let her see the vulnerable side he kept hidden from the industry. He let her see the insecurities he never spoke about. He let her into his space, a space he never gave easily. And to him, that meant something. To him, that was serious. To him, she wasn't just another girl in the DM request, but Chrisean, she was different, explosive, emotional, unpredictable, a storm without a warning label. And Bino thought he could handle it, thought he could manage it, thought he could stabilize her world just by being in it. But nobody manages Chrisean, nobody controls her, nobody tames her chaos. And little by little, he learned that. People who were close to them say the turning point wasn't a fight or a rumor or a moment of disrespect. It was the patterns, the tension, the jealousy that simmered beneath the surface, the nights where her mood suddenly flipped, The mornings where things were fine until they weren't. The arguments that started over nothing but escalated into something too big to swallow. One insider said it plainly: they were either laughing like they were in love or screaming like they hated each other. There was no in between. And the dangerous part? They confused intensity with affection, chaos with passion, drama with connection. But what really triggered the downfall, the part people didn't see, were the private moments, not the arguments, not the jealousy, not the emotional blow-ups. It was the bedroom. That was the place where the mask slipped, where the truth came out. Where Bino realized something wasn't right, because behind closed doors, behind the cameras and the live streams and the goofy front-facing videos, their dynamic shifted into something darker, something uncomfortable, something he didn't know how to process. Friends of Bino say he tried to keep it together, tried to pretend the intimacy issues didn't bother him. But the things she said in the bedroom, the things she wanted from him, the way she reacted when he didn't give her the validation she demanded, it all started wearing him down. One friend said, "He told me one night, 'Bro, she's different behind the scenes. It's not fun anymore.' Another said he admitted, 'She does things that mess with my head. She knows exactly what she's doing.' But the breaking point wasn't the behavior, it was the power shift. Because Chrisean started using their private life as leverage, bringing up moments he didn't want to talk about, teasing details she knew he didn't want public, reminding him of what happened in the bedroom whenever she needed to win an argument. And Bino hated it. He never wanted the world to know what happened behind those doors. He never wanted their personal business broadcasted. He never wanted to be humiliated. But Chrisean, she didn't have the same boundaries. If she was angry, she would say anything. If she felt betrayed, she would weaponize anything. If she wanted control, she would remind him, "You know I can say it if I want." And that's the line friends say pushed him to the edge, because Bino is many things: a rapper, a fighter, a hustler, a guy with a reputation. But he's not someone who plays with bedroom scandals. He's not someone who wants his personal experiences mocked, dissected, meme, or turned into a storyline. So when he realized she was comfortable using their intimate moments as ammunition, something inside him shifted. He stopped trusting her. He stopped feeling safe around her. He stopped seeing her as someone he could be vulnerable with. And when the trust broke, everything broke. But here's the twist that fans don't know. Bino didn't speak out at first. He stayed quiet. He walked away silently. He tried to let the situation die. He didn't want to embarrass her. He didn't want to expose her. He didn't want to make the situation messier. But Chrisean couldn't let silence exist. She started throwing subliminal shots, tweets, stories, captions, sliding in petty lines about him, implying he wasn't the man she thought he was. Suggesting he was insecure, boring, inexperienced, soft. She knew exactly how to get under his skin, and she did, repeatedly. Every time he ignored her, she got louder. Every time he tried to move on, she created more noise. Every time he tried to distance himself, she dragged him back with a new insult. But the final straw, the moment that flipped everything, was a private message she allegedly sent a mutual friend. Bino act hard, but you know what he really like in the bed. He found out, he snapped, he went live. And last night wasn't random at all. It was retaliation. It was the moment he decided, if she wants to play dirty, I can play dirtier. And that's exactly what he did. Bino didn't ease into the exposure. He didn't test the audience. He didn't drop hints or warm up to the topic. He walked straight into the fire like he'd been waiting months for this moment. Like everything he held back finally snapped loose. The live chat was already chaotic, but the second Bino leaned forward and said, "Nah, y'all need to hear this. I've been too quiet." The entire energy shifted. People stopped scrolling. Screens started recording. Anybody who left the live rushed back in. The viewer count doubled, tripled, because the tone of his voice wasn't petty. It wasn't playful. It wasn't messy for entertainment. It was personal. He wasn't just exposing her. He was bleeding frustration he'd swallowed for far too long. He sat back, rubbed his hand across his face, exhaled deeply, and then dropped the sentence that detonated the entire internet. She don't act like that in public, but in that bedroom, she's a whole different person. The chat exploded. What does that mean? Tell us, drop it. Stop being vague. Go live on IG too. We screen recording. Bino looked dead into the camera, almost like he was daring Chrisean to start typing. She be acting tough on the internet, right? Hardest girl in the world, breaking doors, fighting dudes, barking at everybody. He paused, smirked. But behind closed doors, she be begging. The comments went insane. Begging what? What she begged for. You can't drop that and walk away. Nah, say it. Bino wasn't done, not even close. Man, she know exactly what I'm talking about. She the loudest one online, but in private, she wanted things from me I wasn't with. Then he shook his head, like the memory disgusted him. I ain't even embarrassed. I just ain't wanted out there. But she kept playing with me, talking like I'm soft, playing like I ain't who I am. He leaned forward again. So let's talk about what she was doing in that bed. The live nearly shut down. He didn't stop. She would switch up on me. 1 minute she wailed, next minute she acting like a little kid begging me not to leave. He mimicked her voice, not to mock her, but to show how different she acted. Don't go, Bino. Don't go. I promise I'll be good. The chat went feral. What tit? She acted like that. No way. Nah, this is crazy. Bino continued. She knew what she was doing, though. She used that innocent act to get what she wanted. He paused. And then when she didn't get her way, she'd flip it, say some wild stuff. Talk about what I liked, what she did for me, threatened to make jokes about it. He looked straight into the lens. So let me make something clear. Half that stuff, I didn't like it. She was forcing that vibe. She was doing too much. He clenched his jaw. I ain't never been with nobody who changed personalities like that, and she used them bedroom moments like weapons. He reenacted one of their fights. She'd throw my intimacy in my face, talk about, oh, you ain't say that when you was in my bed. Like, bro, that's manipulative. The comments erupted. Chrisean. What were you doing? But no, chill OMG. No wonder he left. Is this real? Expose her, drop the rest. But the craziest part, Bino didn't even get rattled. He was calm. Too calm. Painfully calm. That's how everyone knew he wasn't lying. She do this thing, he continued, where she act all dominant online. But in the room, she wanted me to take control. He didn't specify details, but he said enough. She ain't who she pretended to be, not in that bed, not behind the scenes. He sighed, but it wasn't a dramatic sigh. It was the sound of someone releasing frustration they held in for way too long. And honestly, I left because she was messing with my peace. I ain't like the games she played in private. I ain't like how she switched up. I ain't like how she talked crazy only after I told her no. Then he dropped the first twist. It wasn't even the bedroom stuff that made me leave. It was what she said after. Everyone leaned in. She said, if you ever embarrass me, I'll tell people what you like in bed. He stared into the camera with dead seriousness. That's when I knew she was dangerous. Chat exploded in every direction. She threatened him. That's psycho. This is dark. OMG. Nap. Chrisean is wild. Then he said the words that sealed the moment forever. She tried to blackmail me with intimacy. That's why I'm talking now. She broke the rule first. He didn't yell. He didn't curse. He didn't laugh. He just told the truth. And that's what humiliated her more than anything. The calmness, the control, the fact that he didn't look hurt. He looked done. But then came the moment that flipped everything upside down, the part nobody expected, the part that sent the whole internet into a place of pure chaos. Bino said, you want to know the real reason she's scared right now? Because I got messages from her. Chat went berserk. Messages? Drope them. We need receipts. Do not play. Bino took out his phone, scrolled, shook his head. These right here, if I show y'all, her whole tough girl image done. The viewers begged, show them, show one, just one. Bino, do it. He smirked again, not out of pettiness, but because he knew he had all the leverage. One message preview was visible at the bottom of his screen for a split second, just enough for people to screenshot it. A message from Chrisean that read, "Please don't tell nobody what happened that night, please." The internet erupted. What night? What happened? What did she do? No way this is real. Bino closed the messages. I ain't gonna show it yet, but I'll tell you this, she ain't ready for me to talk. And then he ended the live. Just like that. No warning, no goodbye. Just cut the stream. Leaving the world in meltdown mode, and that's where the first twist hits. A source close to Chrisean, someone who was actually in the house one of those nights, came forward minutes later, anonymously, with something even more shocking. And when you hear what they said, everything changes. The second Bino ended that live, not a minute later, not 30 seconds later, but within 5 seconds, Chrisean's phone started ringing, back-to-back calls, nonstop notifications, people texting her, DMing her, sending clips, sending screen recordings, sending screenshots. But Chrisean didn't answer anyone, because the moment she saw the message preview, the one the entire internet screenshot instantly, "Please don't tell nobody what happened that night, please." She froze. She never freezes, not Chrisean, not the girl who will fight anybody, anywhere, not the girl who breaks doors and laughs at drama, not the girl who acts unbothered by everything. But insiders say she went silent, like actual silence. No yelling, no pacing, no throwing things, just sitting, staring, rubbing her forehead, because she knew exactly what night he was referring to, and she also knew she wasn't the only one who remembered it. There was a witness. This is where the real story starts twisting, because what people didn't know, what even Bino didn't mention, is that an anonymous person had been in the house during one of those nights. Someone who saw the aftermath, someone who heard the conversation, someone who knew more than either of them wanted public. And that anonymous person came forward immediately, not to defend Chrisean, not to defend Bino, but because they were tired of seeing lies. The insider posted, "I was there that night, I heard everything, and what really happened ain't what she's telling people." Social media erupted. Who TF is this? A friend, a cousin, a roommate, a producer. Who is this person? But they didn't give a name. They didn't drop credentials. They dropped facts. You want to know why she told Bino, "Don't tell nobody what happened that night"? Because she started the argument. She pushed his buttons. She said things that had him trying to leave. This person claimed that the argument didn't start in the bedroom. It started hours before, and the reason Bino was so fed up wasn't because of one incident, but because of everything leading up to it. The insider said she was spiraling that night, jealous, possessive, accusing him of cheating when he wasn't. They added, she locked herself in his room and sat on the floor crying for an hour. The internet nearly collapsed. People couldn't picture Chrisean doing that. She's always loud, always aggressive, always on attack mode. But the insider said differently. She don't want people to know she can get insecure. She don't want people to know she begs, but she does. And then, the bombshell. The reason she said don't tell nobody is because she embarrassed herself that night, not him. That line alone caused a split online, half the internet screaming in shock, the other half demanding proof. But the anonymous insider kept going. You know that message preview he showed? He ain't lying. She really begged him not to tell nobody, not because of him, but because of how she acted. Then they said something that turned the whole situation from messy to nuclear. She threatened to expose him first. That's why he snapped tonight. She'd been using that night as a weapon. This changed everything, because if she planned to expose him first, then Bino's viral live wasn't random. It was defense, preemptive, and the insider wasn't done. They claimed there was a second message she sent him that night, way worse than the one y'all saw. People demanded it. Drop it. Show it. What did she say? Is it worse than the preview? The insider refused to show it, but they did reveal what it said. She told him she'd ruin his name if he ever made her look stupid, word for word. The timeline exploded. She's manipulative, Fur. Nah, she's toxic. Not her threatening him. This explains everything he said. But then, things took a darker turn because the insider shared one detail Bino didn't mention. That night wasn't the first time she threatened him with their private life. They said Chrisean had used intimate moments to win arguments multiple times, that it became a pattern. She knows he's private, she knows he hates being embarrassed, she uses that against him. Fans began connecting dots. This is why I kept quiet for so long. This is why he looked so tired in the live. This is why he spoke so calmly. It wasn't fresh pain. It was months of swallowing what he didn't want the world to know. Then came the second twist, the one nobody saw coming. Because the anonymous insider wasn't just anyone. They had proof they knew both of them. They posted a blurred screenshot of a FaceTime call log. With two names visible, Bino Chrisean, and a third name above them, the insider. People lost their minds. It's someone close to both of them. Not a random commenter, someone who knows them personally. This is real. And now everyone was dying to know, if they were that close, why were they speaking out now? The insider answered, because she's trying to spin the story already, and I'm not letting her play victim this time. That sentence hit like a grenade, this time, meaning she'd played victim in older situations too. But the insider dropped one last detail before disappearing. The real reason she panicked when Bino showed that message preview is because she thought he was going to reveal what she said at the end of that night. Everyone froze. What did she say? At the end of the night, the insider refused to say it. Bino didn't say it. Chrisean definitely didn't want it out. But then the insider typed a single sentence and logged off. If he ever posts that message, her whole image is finished. The internet erupted. What message? What did she say? Is it a confession? Did she admit something? Is it about JR? Is it about Blueface? People begged for clues. No one gave one. And that mystery, that missing message, becomes the driving force of the entire scandal. Because if Bino ever drops it, if that message ever hits the timeline, if the world ever sees what Chrisean said that night, she may never recover. The moment the anonymous insider vanished and their final message, if he ever posts that message, her whole image is finished, echoed across the timeline. The internet didn't just react, it erupted into a cultural riot. Because this wasn't just a Bino versus Chrisean argument anymore. This wasn't just a messy breakup moment. This was a full-scale public implosion of everything people thought they knew about Chrisean. And the first group to jump in? The blogs. Within minutes, No Jumper, Say Cheese, Academics, Hollywood Unlocked, The Neighborhood Talk, On Site, Jasmine Brand, Rap Alert, Daily Loud. Every blog page posted the clip of Bino saying, "She be begging in the bedroom." That sentence alone generated over 40 million combined views in under an hour. Comments were on fire. Nah, Bino cooked her. Not the tough girl act crumbling. So she's submissive behind closed doors? She'd been manipulating men for years. She threatened him? That's crazy. Who's the insider? Drop the other message. But then it got uglier, because the blogs didn't stop at reposting the clip. They zoomed in, they slowed it down, they color-corrected the message preview, they analyzed the timestamp, they enhanced the screenshot. Every micro detail of that live was broken down frame by frame, but the blogs weren't the only ones dissecting it. Rappers started jumping in. A rising LA rapper commented under a repost, "We been knew she was like that." Another said, "Bino should been exposed her." One even tweeted, "All that tough shat but crying on the floor, wild." The music industry began choosing sides fast, and most of them weren't on hers. But then the moment everyone was waiting for happened. Blueface chimed in. He posted a single laughing emoji on Twitter. Just one. But that one emoji turned the situation into a battlefield instantly. Comments flooded. He knows the truth. Blueface laughing means something. Now, if Blueface laughing She finished. He probably knew about that night. He knew that message she's scared of. Blueface didn't add anything else. He didn't need to. The internet ran with the implication. But then Chrisean's enemies, the ones she has collected over the years, began crawling out of the shadows. A former friend posted, "I told y'all she not who she pretends to be." Another woman she fought with years ago tweeted, "Manipulation is her real talent." Someone from Zeus Network commented, "She been weaponizing sexuality since Blueface house." People lost their minds. But then the story took a shocking turn, because not everyone was attacking her. Some people defended her, loudly. A female rapper tweeted, "Y'all love tearing down women, but don't drag the men doing weird shit too." Another influencer posted, "She probably acted like that because she was insecure. That's not a crime." A female relationship podcaster said, "This is trauma behavior, not manipulation." And then a surprising defender spoke up, Whack 100 of all people. He went on Clubhouse and said, "Bino gotta chill. You don't expose bedroom shati. That's weak." The internet roared, because hearing him defend Chrisean shocked everyone. But his comments didn't slow the chaos. Things escalated further when a Zeus Network producer leaked, "That message everyone's talking about, I've heard about it too." People went insane. "You've what? You know what it says? Is it real? What did she say?" The producer refused to say anything else, but the damage was already done. Now everyone assumed the message was catastrophic, and that's when the influencers started making videos. TikTok became a war zone. Overnight, hundreds of creators made reaction videos. Thousands of fan edits flooded the FYP. Millions of comments debated the truth. Tens of thousands of stitches compared Bino's calm versus Chrisean's chaos. One TikTok with 3 million views said, "You know how bad it gotta be for a guy to even threaten to expose a private message? Chrisean must have said something crazy." Another, "The insider confirming the story is worse than Bino." Another, "If she begged, cried, threatened, and tried to blackmail him, y'all better stop calling him soft." Twitter Spaces lit up. IG Lives multiplied. YouTube streamers spent hours breaking down every detail. But the biggest reaction came from someone entirely unexpected, Chrisean's own family. One of her relatives, someone she fell out with years ago, posted a shady IG story. "She always act tough till the truth hit." People lost their minds, not her own family saying that, "This is bad, this is really bad." But the final straw, the moment that changed the entire momentum, happened when a woman who used to live with Chrisean posted, "He not lying about how she act behind closed doors. That girl has two sides." The internet stopped. Because if multiple people described the same pattern, it wasn't a coincidence. But then something unexpected happened. Chrisean finally reacted, not with a live stream, not with a rant, not with a fight. She posted a single Instagram story. "He lying on my name. Watch this." Just that, 2 short sentences, but the tone, cold, calculated, threatening, very unlike her usual chaotic style, and that terrified people, because that meant one thing, she's about to retaliate. But the very next development is what sent the entire scandal into total, irreversible meltdown. Because while Chrisean was threatening to clear her name, Bino's team leaked something first, a voice note, a real one, 4 seconds long. Chrisean's voice crying, whispering, "Don't leave me. I'll be good, I promise." The internet stopped breathing. That was her. That was her voice. That was real. Oh my God, Teed. And the reaction was immediate. Bino wasn't lying. The insider wasn't lying. The message preview wasn't exaggerated. The story wasn't fake. Chrisean begged. Repeatedly, privately. And now the biggest question of all was tearing through the internet. If that voice note is real, what's in the other message she's terrified of? Bino's team never meant to post the voice note. It wasn't planned. It wasn't part of a strategy. It wasn't even supposed to be public. It was meant to shut down the narrative. to stop the people calling him a liar, to stop the people saying he was exaggerating, to stop the ones accusing him of embarrassing a woman for clout. But it did something else entirely. It lit the match. Because once that voice note, that raw, trembling, pleading whisper of, "Don't leave me, I'll be good, I promise," hit the internet, everything changed. The image Chrisean built for years, the tough persona, the fearless fighter, the woman who never begs, collapsed in one instant. And she knew it, because after the voice note leaked, Chrisean didn't post another story, she didn't tweet, she didn't scream, she didn't go live, she went silent. And anyone who knows her knows that silence is never a good sign. But while she stayed quiet, something terrifying quietly began spreading through the internet, something even Bino didn't see coming. A new anonymous insider appeared, not the same person as before. This one had a different writing style, different timing, different energy. They posted, "You think the voice note is bad? That's nothing. The real message is worse." People instantly knew this was about the missing message, the one Bino never showed, the one the first insider hinted at, the one that allegedly could finish her entire image. Comments exploded instantly. "Drop it. Show us. Don't hold back. What did she say?" But the new insider didn't post the message. They posted something more disturbing. "I have the screenshots, plural. Screenshots, not one message, not two. Multiple." Then the insider dropped the first clue. She admitted something that night, something she's been hiding. People lost their minds. Admitted what? Hiding what? What did she do? But before the insider revealed anything else, something unexpected happened. A DM leaked. A DM between Bino and one of his close friends. The friend asked, "You posting that message, the real one?" And Bino replied, "Not yet, she not ready." Not yet, not ready. The internet combusted, he has it. He 100% has it. And it's worse than we thought. Then the anonymous insider posted again, "You want the truth?" It wasn't what she did that night. It's what she confessed after. Confessed. That one word turned the entire scandal from petty drama into something darker. People started speculating wildly. Did she confess to lying? Did she confess to using him? Did she confess to something involving Blueface? Did she confess to something involving her son? Did she confess to a fight, a secret relationship, a pregnancy, a betrayal, a threat? But the insider shut all speculation down with a single sentence. She said something that scared him. Scared him? The guy who never backs down, the guy who doesn't fear drama, the guy who sat across from gang members and didn't blink? What could she possibly have said that terrified Bino? Then came the second clue. She told him something about a person she hurt. The internet froze. Who? Blueface. A family member, her ex, a friend, someone from the industry. People refreshed the page nonstop. Streams went live across YouTube and TikTok. Everyone waited. And then the insider posted the third clue. The line that sent shockwaves through the entire fan base. It wasn't an apology, it was a confession. Confession to what? Everyone lost their minds. Blog pages started lining up posts. Commentators began preparing theories. Blueface tweeted and then deleted 3 dots. A cryptic silence. Then the insider posted. She told him something that night and begged him not to repeat it, not because it was embarrassing, but because it was dangerous. Dangerous, everybody froze. Dangerous how? Dangerous to her image, dangerous to her career, dangerous to someone else, dangerous legally, dangerous emotionally. People flooded the comments begging for answers, and then, finally, the insider dropped the 4th clue. Bino didn't expose her, not really. He exposed the surface, the real truth. She exposed to him. The internet exploded all over again. Because that meant the message wasn't Bino humiliating her, it was her exposing herself. Her admitting something she never meant the world to know. Something from her past, something she regrets, something she fears, something she has been running from. But this is where the twist becomes catastrophic, because the insider posted one last message. I'm not leaking it, but someone else is. Someone else, not Bino, not a friend, not either insider. Someone else has the message. And then the account posted a countdown. Tomorrow, midnight. People went insane. Who has it? Who is dropping it? What did she confess? What did she do? What is in that message? The insider deleted their account instantly, gone, but the countdown remained. Screenshotted, shared, reposted, circulated across every platform. And now the entire internet is waiting for one thing: the release of the message that could destroy Chrisean's entire reputation. A message she wrote with her own hands in her own words on a night she begged for silence. Now that the countdown has started, now that a new insider claims they have the message, now that the voice note is confirmed real, now that multiple witnesses came forward, now that the blogs, rappers, influencers, and even her own family have reacted, now that the entire internet is waiting for midnight to see whether the message that could destroy her image finally drops, you have to stop and ask yourself, what did Chrisean say in that message? What did she confess that night? What was so dangerous she begged Bino to never repeat it? Because it wasn't crying. It wasn't insecurity. It wasn't begging him to stay. It wasn't a mood swing. It wasn't a meltdown. This was something deeper, something darker, something she's hidden for years, something she said in a vulnerable moment and regretted the second it left her mouth. So now I need you, yes, you watching, to drop into the comments right now and tell me, what do you think the confession was? Do you think it involves someone from her past? Someone she hurt? Something she lied about publicly? Something she's been running from? Something Blueface already knows? Something Bino didn't even want to repeat? Who do you think the anonymous leaker is? A friend, a cousin, a producer, somebody in her circle, somebody in his circle, or someone who screenshotted the message months ago? And most importantly, do you think the message will actually drop at midnight? Or do you think someone will try to shut it down before it leaks? Because right now, everybody is watching. Blog pages are refreshing, streamers are gearing up, Twitter detectives are digging, fans are fighting in the comments, enemies are celebrating way too early, and Chrisean? She's silent. And when somebody like her goes quiet, it usually means she's planning something huge. Before you go, hit like. So this story reaches everyone following the chaos. Hit subscribe so you don't miss the moment that message drops. Turn on notifications because when the confession finally goes public, whether it's tonight, tomorrow, or leaked by someone she trusts, we'll be covering every second of it. The message is coming. The truth is coming. And when it hits the timeline, the entire internet will never look at her the same again.